Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This week we got something a little different for you. You know, I picked up a printer, a P1P Bambu Lab P1P printer about 2 years ago, and I'm finally now just getting around to do it. And I printed some models, and again, the filament versus the resin, which I had a resin, and that's what most of my models that I 3D printed were resin, and now I've dipped into the filament, and it has the grooves. Well, I'm doing a comparison on if you should do, because I think the wash will kind of muddle the whole model up, run along those lines and really mess up. So you gotta have to be real careful with your wash, or you just don't use it at all. And in this video, we're gonna talk about and show you of the same model. I packed two models, I printed them, and they have the grooves, and we're gonna paint one without wash and one with wash. And I'd like to see which one turns out, and if I have to go through any more work at all painting those, you know, do I have to go more steps? I'm guessing I will. But anyway, guys, please like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel, and I'll see you guys in there. All right, here we go. This is a little bit different of a video than I normally do. We're still going to be painting, and these are definitely miniatures, but they're not action figures, you know, or you know, game pieces. These are pretty. These might be kind of cool terrains at the beginning of an entrance or something. This is a skull with some bubbly goop dripping down, and I got my printer up and running thanks to Guy. Guy, appreciate you coming out and helping me getting that running. Big shout out to him. He had some experience with the P1P Bambu Lab, and he came over and helped me set it up and saved me a ton of time, and you know, all those pitfalls that you fall into, he helped me avoid. Thanks a lot, Guy. Truly appreciate it. But here we go. We got these two printed out, and I want to see how the paint applies to these models, because I'm so used to using a resin printer, and it's a lot more fine. There's no grooves. I mean, they have their issues, but these have little micro, tiny grooves, lines in every part of the model because of the way it prints and its filament. And I'm just curious to see how the paint throws down on it. I printed up this as well. I'll be priming it because I want to see how the prime it lays down on this, and if it goes into the grooves, and but you know, the main concern here is the wash, right? If you use wash and you put this down, you're going to have all these little grooves, and it's going to just saturate your model. And I'm kind of curious to see how to avoid that, or if it happens. So on one, I'm going to paint just normal paint. I'm not going to use wash. I'm going to do the highlights and the dark areas with paint itself. And with the other one, I'm going to paint it like normal and do my highlights, and I'm going to do the wash and see if the wash fills in the grooves and just kind of muddles the whole model up. That's my concern here, and I'd like to do it on these before I move forward on any other models. I am printing a Chaos Marine on the printer right now. I'll show a photo of that, or an image of that. And so I'm going to prime that one as well and see if the paint in the wash messes it up. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I'm going to use a green, a dark camel green primer on these two, and I'm going to use black on this one in the Chaos Marine. And we're just going to check these out and see how the paint lays down. All right, before we start the primer, I just want to say this is probably the key to eliminating the grooves. We're going to go super heavy with the primer, and I think that might solve a lot of the problems. Maybe not. I'm not quite sure. This is a bigger model than I painted in the past, is with a filament, or a filament model. The other ones were smaller, and the details weren't as noticeable. So that's it. That's the key here. I think we're going to hit it hard with the primer. All right. Alright, so just for the record, I laid this down thick, and you really need to with this. You know, I'm hoping to fill some of those grooves in by doing this. Normally I don't spray so heavy with my primer, but with these filament printed, you really need to get to business, get to town on these things. So this is turning out really good. He's, you know, it's a little wet, a little thicker than I like. I'm not used to that glossy look after I'm done. I'm used to that matte look, but this is nice. This is working out. I may do a little bit more on him, but he just got to let him dry. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now let's jump over to these guys. I laid it down pretty thick on them, but those grooves, man, they are present. That is for sure. I heard that there's a way that you might be able to use a butane torch to level those out, but I'm not sure. So we're going to go ahead and paint these like I normally do and use my wash. You'll see how I use wash on one and how I don't use wash on the other, and we'll see which one turns out better. I'm guessing the one with wash is going to, you know, have just it's going to spread. It's going to get in those grooves and it's really going to take off, and that's not what we want. So we're going to have to use our painting skills for shadows and things like that on the other one. And as for this one, still drying. Actually, these are, I laid it down thick on these, and this is still drying too. That's crazy. But it's going to take a minute. I may have to shoot this again, and you can see how bright it is. I find covering this green up is difficult. You really got to get with it. All right, so that's turning out nice. These are going to be okay, and I'll probably just do some areas. I'm not going to paint this guy fully. I'm just going to see how the paint reacts to and the wash reacts, and see, you know, what the difference is, if there is any. Yeah, I'm sure there is. Oh, I clipped that right there. Look at that. I got to get that. I hit that with my finger. All right, so off camera, I'm going to go ahead and spray this guy in black, and also I printed another one just for the heck of it yesterday, and I'll spray this one as well. All right, let's do it. All right, the primer's down, and man, you can really see those grooves in there. I know this wash is not going to go well when you wash, because it's going to find those grooves and it's just going to run. You know, so I imagine the one that's going to look better is the one that is going to be painted without the wash and using the highlights and the dark areas for just paint. Whereas this one, I'll be painting it very similar, but I'm going to be doing wash in the crevices, and you know, you might be able to get away with it a little bit in some of these areas, but you can't do a general wash because it's just going to really F the thing up pretty bad. In my opinion, I may be wrong. I might be wrong. We're going to find out together here. And over here, this guy's still drying because I laid it down. It's been a few minutes, several minutes, and it's still wet right here, wet back here, man, and the grooves are still visible. So, you know, the washes aren't going to go terrific here. I don't think. That's my prediction. That's my prediction. And again, I've done a handful of prints that have been filament printed, and I don't remember having a major issue, but I did with the wash. It did run a little bit, but it's been so long ago, and I don't know if, you know, my skills were that high when I was doing it. And my skills have definitely increased or improved. So we're going to find out together how this goes. I think you're going to have to stay away from wash and just use paints as your highlights and your dark recesses. You're just going to have to find the paint. You're going to have to find the perfect color, the perfect shade to get into those crevices. I just know it. I know it. All right, we're not going to be painting this guy fully. I will do some brush strokes here and there to see what it does, but the main focus today is going to be on these two here. They're identical, and they've been primed the exact same, and you can still, I'm just wow. Those grooves are just there. All right, let's start off with a little bit of camo green. This was dark camo green, and now we're going to use just camo green for just to see the properties. All right, let's do it. All right, with the first one, I painted it and I kept the recesses so I could keep the shadows. So I'm not going to use wash on this one. And on this one, I'm going to paint it like I normally do. So I'm going to cover it in the base. right, with the same color I did over here, the camel green. I'm gonna paint the whole thing, and then I'm going to highlight it out from there, just like I would do a regular model. But this one, I'm gonna continue to keep the recesses so I can stay away from the wash. So no wash, wash, and we'll see how it reacts to the grooves and stuff with the wash. All right. So on this one, we're gonna get it all in all the crevices, giving it a solid base everywhere. Using a thick paint, not watering it down. Just like this. Alright, as you can see here, I'm laying on the paint real thick as an attempt to cover up those lines or fill those lines in with paint. But when I know that paint's going to shrink, and that's going to be a problem, and so the grooves, I still believe, are going to be an issue because you just can't really get rid of those. And this is supposed to be a smooth, liquidy model, right? So we're going to have to I think the other model is going to work. It's going to come out a little better. But you know what? At the end, you can decide which one you like the best. All right, there we go. We got the bases down. The one without the wash and the one that's going to have wash. Boom. All right. Second color. Alright, again on this one, the one that I'm going to do wash on, I'm covering almost all of these bubbles, whereas the one I just did a second ago, I just kind of did the tops. I wasn't too concerned about getting all of it because I'm not using wash, so I had to keep those deep recesses, right? Those dark recesses. On this guy, I can paint the bubble all in because I'm going to do the wash, or we hope we're going to do the wash, and we hope it works out. I think it's going to bleed the model pretty bad. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and finish all of these bubbles, these liquid deals, and then we will get on to the second color, or the third color. Alright, so far, there we go. This is the one that's going to have wash. This is the one without. At the moment, this one's looking really good. They're both looking really great. They're different styles. This is more contrast, whereas this one is not. And once we get the wash on there and see how it reacts with the grooves and the filament print, we'll know right away. Because I think down here in the bubbles will be okay. It's going to be up here where the grooves go in circles like this, when we around the bubbles where you want some wash. I think that's going to be the problem. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the bright yellow green, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of that dark yellow green and the original green, you know, just a tad, just to give it a little bit of the same color in there. All right, let's do it. Alright, now I'm just going to use bright yellow green, and then after that I'm just going to go straight to the yellow dot. Alright, let's do it. Alright, there we go. They are done except for the wash. This one is getting no wash. This one's going to get the wash. And I think I'm going to use either an Agrax or a camo green wash to kind of, you know, maybe circumvent the the grooves, and maybe it'll look good. But this is supposed to be liquid. And another thing I could do is I could probably do a gloss varnish, but I probably won't do that. I was thinking, I do have UV resin. I could paint that on there and then cure it. That would look really good. But for today, we're just going to put the wash in here and talk about the grooves and we'll see what it does. But you can see here, didn't need to use any wash, and that still looks pretty good. All right, so let's get the wash going on this one. All right, I was going to go ahead and test, some paints out on this one as well, just because it was a model. But I think we're running a little bit over schedule as far as for the video. And you know what? We got everything we need to know from the two slimy skulls. If you want to see this painted the same way I did these, with the wash and without the wash, let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to do it. Maybe I'll actually do a video painting this guy. I don't know. He's pretty cool. Chaos. And I think I was going to go, I forgot the name of the guys. It was going to be a green. They're going to have black and then green shoulder pads and these. It looks pretty cool. It's a really pretty sick model. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm just letting the wash dry, and the models that I'm talking about are right below down here. And one has the full wash and one has no wash. And we're almost to the reveal. All right. All right, there we go. We did a matte varnish over the one we did with the wash. Now look at that. You can see the grooves. Man, it's just, that doesn't look smooth. I mean, it definitely no problem for a tabletop. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it looks awesome. It doesn't look all jaggedy. That's just us being hypercritical, right? So, I mean, but this is a great model. I love it. But you can see also down right in here, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. You can see on that bubble right there where it just kind of caught and got in the grooves. And so what I'm going to do, that's the only downside. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with some yellow, and I'm just going to spot those real quick just to bring it back. All right, let's do it. All right, there we go. Both done. One no wash, one with wash. And we both, I did a matte varnish on both of them. And also I went back with titanium bold white, and I put a little tiny dot on every one of those just to give it some more pop. You can see it just boom. So I don't know. In the comments below, tell me which one you like the best. Do you like the one with the wash, or you like the one without the wash? I love both of them. But, this one comes with a little extra work, not to mention the wash, and you got to go back and touch up everything after your wash. With this one, we didn't have to use anything. And if I really, really want to make this pop, I'll just take a bit of gloss varnish and spray that on there, and bam. Or even that UV resin, paint some of that on and put it in the sun, and it'll be nice and glossy. So it's different routes. The 3D prints, see, there you go. You can see right here, you can see the difference. This one, you can still see the grooves, but this one definitely much easier. But, like I said earlier, at the end of the day, these both look good. It doesn't really matter. The high defin is just nitpicking, to be honest. These are terrific. I love the filament printer, and I can definitely see where, here, let me back off for a second, we're painting a miniature, like this, and you do wash, man, you're just going to have to be super careful, because that wash will muddle it up in some areas, especially if you're using white. Luckily for us, we were using a dark color. But if you were using a light color, man, it'd be a little difficult. Anyway, guys, you know what? Let's get these guys on the spinner and get a final look. And in the comments below, tell me what you think. Do you like the wash look or the non-wash look? Or do you like both? Anyway. Well, there you have it, guys. What cool little models. Both these models turned out great. The one with the wash and the one without the wash, they both look terrific. And the one with the wash definitely has the grooves, and the one without the wash definitely have the grooves. It's the paint, it gets sucked in and it creates those shadows, and the wash just kind of doubles that effect. But you can definitely go back like we did in the video and touch it up. But you know, at the end of the day, they both look terrific. They both look great, and the grooves don't really matter. The only time I think it would really matter is, and I believe I mentioned this before, is if it was a light color. A light color, it would really make things muddled. So I would stay away from light colors with filament models unless you have a way to, maybe I could slow my printer down and get it a little smoother. But still, I think those lines would be there. Anyway, in the comments below, let me know which one you like the best, the one with the wash or without the wash. I would love to know. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. And I'll catch you next week.